Yes, us. Welcome to the Kefi Life podcast. My name is Kiki Vale, and I'll be your guide to creating a life of olakala, all is well. Together, we'll get back to the basics, and we'll explore fresh new ways to flourish in mind, body, and soul the Greek way. You can look forward to interviews, stories, essential self-care strategies, recipes, and actionable takeaway olakala moments. This is going to be so much fun. Let's get going. Πάμε! Welcome to Kefi Life, another episode bringing you a spectacular guest who is going to talk to us today about integrating different ways of wellness, pretty much through her PhD work and also her coaching. She is currently a professor at Morton College, a professor of nursing, a nursing professor, and also teaches psych and meds. And this is a very important job. And Toula is not only very intelligent, but she's a good friend of mine. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of where you've come with your PhD and what you're trying to do for people because you do it with such care. But I have to give you a plug as far as nursing goes. When my mom was in the hospital, we would see doctor after doctor after doctor, probably 20 doctors, and we would wait for the doctors. But the nurses hold our hands, sit by our side, get us our water, pray with us. Nurses are angels. Yeah. So I want to say that to you.
Thank you.
It takes a special person to be a nurse.
Yes, it does. It does. And I've loved every minute of it.
Oh.
It's been 40 years.
Has it really?
And I've loved every minute of it. I would be fired from any other job. There's no chance. And it's the physical as well as the mental challenge. For me, that's every day is different, brings new challenges. So
one area that we align ourselves, and we always have, is that we want to feel life, we want to feel healthy, and we want to do it in a very holistic way. Yeah. So you is that part of your PhD?
Yeah.
Will you tell us about your PhD and your coaching that you developed?
So the PhD, the area I got my PhD in is integrative mental health. So it's integrating Eastern and Western modalities for mental health. And it's also kind of looking at ways other than medication. I think that, medication is there, it's needed, but there are other things we can do either as a first line or as an integration. So sometimes it takes that. As my dissertation work, what I did was I developed a coaching model, and it was meant for the nursing students that were possibly having trouble. Most of them are diverse. 90% of our institution are diverse diverse students. So the idea of coaching them and developing a model so that we could kind of look at in a structured way. You probably do it intuitively, a lot of us, but then there's some that wouldn't. So I think a model is helpful in that regard. And looking at, starting out, and anybody can do this. It's something helpful that we can do at home. I do it probably twice a year. You create a wheel. I usually say, cut it into 8 separate areas, and then label those 8 areas with what's most important to you in your life. So things like nutrition, exercise. One of the things that we forget about, and for sure students do, is sleep hygiene. The idea of, really consciously and mindfully trying to wind down at the end of the day, which is not an easy task. It's kind of a cruel joke, like when you really could sleep, you couldn't because you had kids. Now we can't sleep and I can't sleep, so what the heck? But anyways, you can, break up this wheel, and then once you have your areas, you'll look at them and you'll rate them from 1 to 10. How happy are you with the way you are in that area? So let's say nutrition, church, spiritual. You spoke of spirituality, the collective nature of what happens when you are with like-minded people that are, looking. When we talk about spirituality, religion, church, it's hope. And it's providing that or having that. That's what nurses do as well. Hope is something that is underrated, I think. And not even looked at as being an intelligent thing, and yet it's brilliant. So I'm always thinking about that. So, in terms of looking at the coaching, you then would start, even making small changes. And that's really what I talk about. So in terms of nutrition, let's say, making changes probably every year after we're 25, our body makes less digestive enzymes. And so for nutrition, you could start by taking a probiotic, really trying to think about the microbiome, which is really the next frontier.
I want to know more about the microbiome because I read about it and it is so prevalent.
Yes.
Could you tell me quickly in a nutshell what that is?
Well, we have flora, which are bacteria in our body, which are meant to be there. So there's places like our gut. For women, our vagina has these flora which are helpful for keeping things at the pH that it needs to be, keeping things, in the amount of sugar that is developed or stored. That's what a microbiome would do. So we really do need to be mindful of it and keeping the flora as healthy in number and as mature of them as possible. So in order to do that, oftentimes we'll say prebiotics are very helpful, probiotics are very helpful. Digestive enzymes. When you think about, when I was doing my work for Mind Body, I took a nutrition course, and really what I took away from the whole really 800 level course was
wow.
Eat sauerkraut and Greek yogurt, because those are probably our healthiest foods in terms of your brain and your gut and mind health.
And there's such a correlation to food, fat, and the brain.
Yes.
And keeping it healthy.
Yes.
And
our brain needs good fats. And so things like grass-fed butter, grass-fed beef. I've been on a plant-based diet now for probably about a year. Not soy, because that's worse. But I really feel at my best. Another thing that happens is when we eat meat, oftentimes there's bacteria on that meat and it procreates, and we don't know that. And so that could be another reason that we have a lot of gut issues. Again, looking at that microbiome, is important. So, it's different. I think the best thing about nutrition that comes about at this point too is the whole idea of flexitarianism. We don't have to be like just one thing. I'd say I'm 90% plant-based, but 10% you just give me some lamb, okay? Just give me something, because you don't have to be all or nothing. So we go through this coaching, and I do this with students, and oftentimes it's really interesting the types of things that need to be addressed. Just finding places for themselves to study. Wow. I think that even this newer generation, of course, better equipped than we were, but still needs to learn about self-regulation. Self-regulation, maybe using the vagus nerve, which is breathing, is regulating via the vagus nerve.
What is the vagus nerve?
It's the biggest nerve that runs right through the center of our body, through our whole. So it regulates a lot of breathing, heart, but it also regulates emotion. So if we can learn to do that, because it regulates the sympathetic, parasympathetic. Vagal nerve is parasympathetic. So just like trying to downplay your sympathetic, you could also upplay your parasympathetic, which is vagus nerve.
Well, I got to ask you, Toula Kelikian, because you have your PhD, you're a nursing professor. How do you stay well in the mind, body, and spirit? It's not one thing, it's a lot of things, I'm sure.
Yes. So a lot of small changes. And small changes to every area of your body. For me, exercise is essential. I would not be a free woman otherwise. Just,
I know what you mean by that.
You know it. I know you know. So, you have to find your sweet spot. What is it? For me, it's that. Sleep is something we can always work on, relaxation, entertainment. I think that bottom line, relationships is what makes the difference. Relationships, healthy relationships. So keeping yourself healthy, and the amount of strength that comes through relationships.
It's so important in communication with the people that are in your life.
Yeah.
And not holding back just being able to say, that doesn't work.
Yes.
Or yes, it does work.
Or even however you want to say it. It's not always so nice, but you know what?
Sometimes.
I'm your friend and you're mine, so listen.
Be prepared for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, but having somebody you can do that with. I think what I've learned is that it's amazing how lonely a lot of people are.
Oh.
And so, you know, connection in some way.
Are they afraid or just not taking the time, or
From
your observation?
You know, I think it's our culture. I think it's our, you know, nuclear. We kind of just really don't focus on going and, you know, drinking coffee and, you know, smoking cigarettes for 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is the European way.
Yeah.
You know, we could minus the cigarettes, but just do the coffee for 4 hours. But we don't.
I do have to tell you this quickly. We were in Italy last summer, and we went to a restaurant, and our host, our guide, his name was Giocondo, and he took us out to, we sat in front of the sea, and he goes, okay, we're going to order all this food. We were kind of tired, so I was kind of scarfing the food down, and I was hungry. And he's like, slow down. What are you in a hurry for? I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize I was eating so fast.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, please. And it took us like 3 hours. I'm like, just bring me that bread. Just bring
Well, and those Italians bring all those courses and oh my God.
And drinks and food.
Yes.
But he was just he was treating it as a social experience.
Yes.
And it was really fun. I'll never forget it.
It's that idea, and you know what happens in that time, how much you share, and you know, you just take our time.
Oh, so we are out of time, but did you answer that question? In my life, I've learned that because I ask all my special guests that question.
Yeah, I learned that people make the world go round.
Relationships.
Yeah.
So are you going to share this coaching, this life wheel with people outside of nursing, or is it just for your nurses?
Oh, no, it's for anybody who, you know, wants to start working on themselves. It's just such an achievable way. You know, therapy is always kind of like, so where'd you get stuck? And to even bring that up makes you stuck. Whereas coaching is, let's start from right here and go forward.
I love it.
I like that.
Yeah. It's progressive and it's moving forward.
Yes.
Toula Kelikian, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And your job is big. It's important with the nurses. And I'm sure you're I actually checked out the reviews, and your students love you.
Oh.
Yeah. 5 stars across the board.
Yay!
Yeah. So
Yay.
you're awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kefi Vale is the founder of Kefi Life. She is passionate about whole person wellness and living a fulfilled life. Her Kefi Life podcast is created to simply and naturally help you harmonize the mind, body, and soul the Greek way. Visit KefiLife.com, at KefiLife365 on Instagram, and check out Kefi Vale on LinkedIn and on Twitter. Join us again next time for more positive energy and inspiration on Kefi Life.